The next panel is Pamela Morgan. If you're here when I call your name, come up and sit down. Cameo Williams, Noelle Dempsey, Sally Ann Henry, Kristin Leigh, Pamela Baguette. The next panel will be Joyce Zunis, Clayton Maxwell, Gloria Trent, Molly White, Claire Barrett Messias, and Donna Romaine Mantish. Pamela Morgan. Pamela Morgan. Okay, Pamela Morgan was registered in favor of the bill. We will change that from oral to registering a position in favor of the bill. Cameo Williams.
Hi. Hello, my name is Cameo Williams from Austin, Texas. I'm a constituent of Senator Kirk Watson. I represent myself, and I am against SB 1. I'd like to share something. I have 3 children that I chose to have. Choosing to carry to term and parent is very different than being forced to do either. We women have been menstruating every month since we were 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, all the way through our 40s, 50s, and 60s, every month. We know our bodies, that if we were not pregnant or our first cycles are regular, we know our bodies, we know what we are emotionally, physically, mentally, psychologically capable of any given day or night. We know. We know how much time, nurturing, money, energy, patience, knowledge, and effort it takes to raise healthy children. Collectively, we've got that covered. Planting a wanted pregnancy has its own anxieties, but we know that there is no word for the stress, pain, hormonal fluctuations, panic, and suffocating fear it is being pregnant when it was not planned. There are only 4 ways for a pregnancy to end: miscarriage, abortion, vaginal birth, and cesarean section. None of these are comfortable, easy, or pain-free. They all affect the cervix and uterus. They all require physical, emotional, mental, and psychological energy to get through. We know this. We know our bodies. Sperm is not magic. It does not suddenly make anyone maternal or paternal or financially stable. Just carrying it does not do that. If it did, there would be a whole lot less deadbeat parents. Abstinence-only based sex education is proven to be completely ineffective. Teach birth control, make it affordable and convenient to acquire. Teach your boys and men to be committed and present fathers. Also, if everyone voting for this bill arrived with pre-approved adoption forms proving that they are ready to adopt these thousands of unplanned and unwanted children that are forced to be born after September 2014 by women seeking but unable to get the abortion they desperately seek, I might believe that those for this bill are serious about saving the babies. I know a lot of people and their secrets, and I can promise you that there are a lot more deadbeat fathers than there are women who've had abortions.
Thank you for being here and testifying. Noelle Dempsey. Ms. Dempsey?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chairman and Committee, for allowing me to testify. My name is Noelle Dempsey. I live in Round Rock, Texas. I'm a constituent of Charles Schwertner. I represent myself here to testify against SB 1 because I believe this bill is a direct violation of Texas women's rights as citizens under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment and limits Texan women's rightful access to health care. I believe medical decisions should be made by a woman and her chosen medical practitioner, that it's a public interest and obligation for women to have access to complete health care. The requirements in this bill will likely close clinics that ensure the safety of women by providing prenatal care, birth control, postnatal care, and preventative health care, particularly women in isolated areas of Texas where health care services centers are limited. Last week, the American Congress of Obstetricians and Gynecologists formally stated in opposition to the passing of this bill that it improperly regulates medical practice and interferes with the patient-physician relationship. Part of the bill involves restricting the dispensing of the abortion pill to licensed physicians only. This provision would prohibit nurse practitioners and physician's assistants, many of whom run these clinics, from prescribing the medication to women in a timely manner, which incidentally lengthens the gestation period even further. The same applies to the limit of dispensation of the drugs only after an examination concludes that the fetus is 20 weeks or less in gestation, or that the health of the mother and or fetus is at stake, again causing a further delay for treatment within a reasonable time. If this bill were truly about the safety and well-being of women in Texas, the state would set aside funds for clinics to be upgraded and or provide tax incentives for clinics that do upgrade their facilities. They would also set aside funding for more surgical facilities to be created to increase Texan women's access to services. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Kristin Leigh, go ahead.
Dearest committee members, thank you for your patience. My name is Kristin Leigh and I represent myself. I'm testifying in opposition to SB 1. SB 1 will kill more unborn babies than it will save. I quote from the brilliant Libby Ann from her article, How I Lost Faith in the Pro-Life Movement, and if you haven't read it, then I would really suggest that you do. Banning abortion does not affect the number of fetuses aborted. Birth control is the actual solution, and opposing birth control actually drives the abortion rate up. It might surprise you to know that a woman's body naturally rejects approximately 20% of fertilized eggs. Without birth control, out of 100 fertile women without access to birth control, 100 of them will ovulate in any given month. Out of these 100 released eggs, 33 will become fertilized. Out of those 33, 18% will be rejected by the uterus. In a group of 100 women not on birth control, 6 zygotes will die. With birth control, out of 100 fertile women, around 6 of them will ovulate in any given month. Out of those 6 released eggs, only 2 will become fertilized. Out of those 2, 100% will be rejected by the uterus. In a group of 100 women on birth control, only 2 unborn babies would die. Having all these facts in front of us, we must consider that free birth control, as promised by Obamacare, will cut abortion rates by up to 75%. That's 900,000 prevented murders of unborn babies per year. I find it disappointing to recognize that the authors of this bill know that it will not stand in higher courts, that the bill is being used as a measure to tinker with women's hearts and minds that are many times already bounded. I find it haunting that the great state of Texas.
Thank you. Pamela Baguette.
Hi, thank you. I was so very positively impressed by the process when I arrived very early this morning, how smoothly it went. Obviously, a lot of thought went into it, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'm Pamela Baguette. I live along the Travis-Hayes County lines, and I live in the district of Senator Campbell, but she does not represent my views. I'm opposed to SB 1. By the way, today, federal judge issued a TRO in Wisconsin against their bill that requires a physician to live with or to be within a certain distance of a hospital to have his ability to practice there. Listening to all the testimony today, I know that everybody was sincere in what they're saying, deeply felt, heartfelt beliefs expressed, and they're to be honored and respected. They're not, however, to be pushed off on anyone else. My experience is not my neighbor's experience, nor does it have to be. Many of these emotions are born of religious beliefs and are a lack of information. Regarding fetal pain, there's no peer-reviewed data to support this opinion. If there was, it would have been cited by proponents somewhere the past weeks. Senators, the TMA is not neutral on this bill. It is a complicated bill that interferes with the physician's ability to safely, adequately treat their patients. You can reread their letter for specifics, but this bill is so broad and so cut and dried, it does not give the physician and his patient an opportunity to work out what is necessary for that particular patient. You know both the U.S. and Texas Declarations of Independence strongly state the desire for freedom.
Thank you for your
I'm so sorry.
testimony.
Thank you.
You haven't testified. Are you Sally Ann? Okay, good. Sally
Hi,
Ann Henry.
everybody.
Go
Thank
ahead.
you, every single one of you, for being here so late. I'm Sally Henry. I live in Irving, Texas, and I'm a constituent of Kelly Hancock. I'm here in support of SB 1. The rights of an unborn baby.
Would you pull that microphone over closer to you? Thank you.
Sure. The rights of an unborn baby. A person is a person no matter how small. The Roe v. Wade decision did not say that the unborn child is not human. The court said it did not know when human life begins, hence admitting the unborn might be human. A hunter who isn't sure what is moving behind a bush, a bear or human being, may not be shot as long as there is doubt. Just as a doctor removing a baby from a mother's womb, regardless of whether or not they know it is human, if there is doubt, isn't right. A person/mother or a baby/fetus both have constitutional rights. Among those rights is the duty of care when being treated by a physician. This does not include being murdered simply because the doctor isn't sure whether or not the baby is a human. These rights are about the fundamental question of whether the promises of the Declaration of Independence and the protection of the Constitution apply to each and every human being. Because of live birth abortions and cameras inside the mother's womb showing the baby pulling away from a harming instrument, we now know for certain that a baby inside the mother's womb feels pain. The director of Planned Parenthood resigned and became pro-life once she saw the baby retracting while during an abortion on an ultrasound. We protect our animals from pain and have very stringent laws against people who harm them, resulting in jail time. Like animals, unborn children cannot speak out and protect themselves and are too small to escape being harmed. We need to protect the unborn citizens of Texas in accordance with their constitutional rights. Jill Stanek, a pro-life nurse, held a 21 to 22-week-old child and comforted him during his suffering after his live birth abortion. Nurse Stanek stated that the baby was very much alive and suffering as she rocked him until he passed away instead of leaving him in a soiled linen room to die alone.
Thank you very much for being here and for your testimony to this entire committee. And if you'll exit out that way.